Here we go, everybody.
Can't wait, mate.
You're a dick, mate. And I am Alan Partridge.
Hello and welcome on into this Monday's edition of Movie News here at MBE. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and of course our Twitch stream.
Yeah.
I kind of laugh when I said our YouTube channel because there was a bit last week that we might have lost our YouTube channel because we were contesting. Yeah, no, we didn't take the hump, John. Bloody YouTube and Amazon took the hump. Let's be honest, we were doing what we normally do and they didn't like what we were doing in terms of copyright strikes and all that.
Yeah, but we went the extra step of actually disputing it, Stephen, which is not something we've done in the past.
We could have lost our live and interactive rights if we got a strike or something like that. But it didn't come to that.
Yeah, I mean, the big gripe, Stephen, was as you mentioned, 4 hours it was up.
Yeah.
And before they actually decided, no, we're going to block it. If they just blocked it initially in the editing process or the upload, it'd have been fine.
Yeah.
For the loads of videos blocked.
It's a strange one, John. We were actually recording episode 4 at the time.
Yeah.
Very chuffed with ourselves because we knew episode 3 was on its way to getting out the high views, from you guys out there. And the premiere was very successful as well, as I recall. I think it was over 70 odd people were all interacting, joining in the chat, enjoying the watch along.
And that's the best thing about this, Stephen. It's the community getting right involved in these videos. That's been the greatest thing over the last couple of weeks covering the Family Man. Loads of people coming in and commenting, not all positive.
No.
There's been some negative comments, but that's fine.
If it's constructive, John, I don't mind that,
But great to see.
Don't come in and insult us or anything like that. We don't deserve that. We're doing this for the love of it. It's certainly not for the money. John, but
about the money.
We're not going to talk about the Family Man tonight. But you never know.
But we will be doing the Family Man. There's a comment.
Yeah, John, you actually you mentioned something last week, and this is something I'm looking forward to. Since we've done these watch-alongs, you mentioned last week, season 3 of Mirzapur.
Yeah.
When that comes out, we can shoehorn this into movie news to talk about it and stuff like that. We'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And the same with the Family Man. Once we catch up, we've got 2 seasons to do. We're kind of halfway through the first season at the moment. Very much enjoying it. Yeah. And by all accounts, the community are telling us season 2 is even better. Which is funny because, Mirzapur was the other way around. A lot of people were saying it's not as good as the first season. Both of us actually liked season 2 of Mirzapur as well.
I actually probably preferred season 2
I think
of
so.
Mirzapur.
It was more open. It was more an open world, wasn't it? The second season. But Family Man's fantastic, John. The production. And again, we're seeing those one shots again, long sequences, and that's a production crew that have got a lot of confidence in what they're doing, and you get the main players, the actors in place as well. You just know you're on to something very special, don't you?
It takes a lot of coordination, Stephen. It takes weeks and weeks of practice, knowing your spots, so that once you get to the point where you're filming, you're on it and you do it in one take. So it was a great one-shot.
Shambankar has got a comment, John, as you mentioned. Brother, please continue the Family Man. We will do. We'll do it. We always do watch-alongs Thursday and Friday. We record them earlier in the week, but John has got a task in his hand, editing, and it does take a long time to get it right. Though. Yeah.
According to someone in the comment, it's easy.
John, I missed that. And you know something? You said you had a little drink in you at the time when you replied. Do you know something? When Saturday night's episode 4 watch along, I had drank a 7.4 cider and 2 glasses of white wine, and I was telling everybody in the community we love you guys and stuff like that. But that wasn't the drink talking. We do love you guys. You're very special to us.
2 Heinekens and a double whiskey.
But they rubbed you up the wrong way, John, with that
I was in a jovial mood. I'd just been to see Andre Rio and his Johann Strauss Orchestra. So I was in a great mood. Seeing the Berliner comedic harmonists as well. Yeah. The platin tenors, sopranos singing before me.
By all accounts, a very good seat as well.
7 feet away.
Yeah,
fantastic. It was fantastic right down the front. So I had a right good night. I had a drink. And I took a umbrage to that comment.
Yeah, ruined your night.
It was easy. No, it didn't ruin my night. Nearly boxing with someone in the car park afterwards.
Yeah.
It didn't ruin my night, but it would have ruined their fucking night if they'd get out of the car. But look, I digress. It's not easy. Nothing's easy in the YouTube game.
No, it's not.
Videos are videos. You need to edit them.
Yeah.
You have to have a degree of quality. And what we put into this channel in terms of quality, presentation, camera work, audio work, we put the fucking work in, man.
Speech.
You've got to...
speech as well.
Speech, yes.
Because we actually do speak a lot quicker than we do. We do. When we're not on camera, and we kind of use a lot of slang and sweary words as well.
Hi Steve, we talk like this quite a bit when we're speaking off camera.
But John, people naturally assume we just sit and we'll do the watch-alongs, but anyone that's been a subscriber to the channel for a long time now know that we do reviews. We've not done one in a while. The Batman was the last one we've done, and it's a long time coming, but Triple R, KGF Chapter 2 and Beast will be on its way.
It will, yeah.
And we will get the old gang back to do the reviews as well for that. But they are coming. We've just got to find the time. 2 weeks. Beast has been out for now, John. I can't believe
it didn't help with norovirus.
Well, we were unwell, to be fair.
Destroying us.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also we work, so it's hard.
Well, that's it. We will, John. I think we're going to be taking a little break from season 1 of The Family Man anyway to cover Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that might be the ideal time to maybe do the 3 films back to back. Big ask, but major films, John. But we're talking about Talapathy 67, not 66, which is the next one after Beast. We're talking about the one after that. Is Talapathy 67 story originally written for Rajinikanth, one of our heroes, our Indian heroes. Yes. We love that guy. We love him, and we know the inspiration that he's.
That's a good whistle.
Yeah, he does. Oh, John. Oh, yeah.
What was the whistling thing he did for Valamai? Or not Valamai, Anati.
I know, I can't remember.
Anati.
You know that?
He done an actual song.
I was thinking about PETA earlier on today. Just what a great film that is. I need to see that film again.
You know what I need to see? I need to see the Ali Arjun movie that came out. Where he was doing a song and dance number in a jungle setting. We need to watch that. I think that's on Netflix or something. Oh, that's one I need to watch.
We'll get there before Netflix totally folds. By all accounts, it's not looking good, but it was inevitable. In the words of the great Thanos.
Yes, when Disney get involved, it's all over.
This is coming in from timesofindia.com, and it's a very short article anyway. So I'm going to read it and obviously mispronounce everything that's in the article, like I always do, but I'll try my best. Vijay, after the release of Beast, has now started filming for the next tentatively titled Talapathy 66.
This blew my mind.
The first schedule of shooting for the film has been wrapped up in Chennai.
Wow. Yep. Already?
Yep. Talapathy 66 or Talapathy 66. I have to get back into the old way of saying that, John. Directed by Vamshi Pedapalli, has Ramika Mandana as the female lead. I hope I said that right.
Rashmika.
The music for the movie is composed by Thaman, and just days ago the music work for the film began and the composer confirmed it himself. Following Talapathy 66, I'll get there. Vijay's next Talapathy 67 is reportedly stated to be directed by Lokesh Kanagaraj.
Yes.
Who's directed Vijay's Master. Yes, we're back on the ball. Now the new buzz in Hollywood is that the script writer by Lokesh Kanagaraj was originally made for Rajinikanth, but later he modified it, and actor Vijay reportedly liked the story and agreed to work with the director again. According to reports, it said that Lokesh Kanagaraj wanted Rajinikanth to play the lead role in the film, and it was speculated that Kamal Hassan will produce that film, but it was later shelved as the superstar didn't want to do that film. Reportedly, the story was later told to Vijay and the actor agreed it. However, director Lokesh Kanagaraj has not confirmed yet whether the story was made for Rajinikanth originally. Meanwhile, Lokesh Kanagaraj has his film Vikram, starring Kamal Hassan, Vijay Sethupathi and Fahad Fasil in the lead role, scheduled to release on June 3rd. Well, John, we've got from the end of April to the beginning of June to shoehorn those 3 massive films that have just been released over the last few weeks. Has Triple R been released? It has, hasn't that?
Triple R, it was the first one to come
out. So we've not got a lot of a big window to get these films in before Vikram comes out, because that's another one we reacted to. The 2 trailers, I'm sure they were a year apart. It was crazy. But what's your views on this, John? I know it doesn't actually confirm that this film was constructed for Rajinikanth, but the rumours are saying that he didn't want to play the lead role in this film. It begs the question why. He seems like a guy that likes to tackle most things, and I always see Vijay in the same mould. He's the younger version of Rajinikanth in terms of action, charisma, gentleman, comedian, all those things rolled into one. The haircut, and I think obviously there's a lot of inspiration from Rajinikanth that's rubbed onto Vijay as well over the years.
I mean, it's Kamal Hassan that's Rajinikanth.
So why would Rajinikanth reject this role, and if it's true, and Vijay's accepted the role?
It might just be that he doesn't feel the role is a good fit for him, Stephen. We've seen it before. We've seen it over here in Hollywood, in the western sphere of movies. You may have a role offered to an actor of great esteem. They decide, think quite fit for me. I don't think I'm the right person for that role, but they'll maybe have someone else in mind and pass it on, or maybe they'll put it to another actor and it clicks with them and they think, nope, I like that. the fact he suggested, I think you says in that article, Rajinikanth has suggested changes have been made, and then obviously Talapathy's and then seen the changes and thought, you know what, I like that, I like what you've done with that, I like the story. And the fact that Talapathy's got a relationship, previous working relationship with Lokesh kind of Garage, very successful with Master. I think sometimes it's just made, the match is made in heaven. And I think these two guys together, we've seen the behind the scenes shots of them on the set of Master. They were smiling, they looked as though they were best buds.
Yeah.
There's a big age gap, I think, as well. I think it's maybe about 15, 16 years of an age gap.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be any sort of conflict there. They seem to be going very, very well. They've got a great working relationship. And you've seen it in Master. It was a great movie, man. The set design, everything about that movie, the music, the casting of Vijay Talapathy as a villain. You mentioned Kamal Hassan. Yeah, it was Kamal Hassan, wasn't it, in Vikram? Coming up, that's another. Is that Lokesh? Who's doing that movie?
Yep.
Incredible. He's cast Vijay Talapathy in that movie as the villain again. He played Bhavani in Master. Sometimes directors just work well with other actors. They form relationships. We've seen it with Christopher Nolan. He picks like Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy. Time and time again
Michael
he goes. Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino likes to go with Samuel Jackson. He likes to go with the same actors again and again and again. He's got a good working relationship. Well, it seems like Lokesh hit it off very well on the set of Master with Vijay Talapathy. He hit it off well with Talapathy because he's working again with these actors in various different movies. It's looking like, obviously he's definitely working with Talapathy and potentially working with Talapathy in 67. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about Rajinikanth knocking it back. I think sometimes a man of his advanced years in his 70s would realise, but maybe that's not the role for me. It's a bit heavy in terms of action. Maybe pass it on to a man younger. And look, Talapathy, he's in his late 40s, but he has the energy of someone in his fucking 20s.
I was going to mention John about Nelson Dilip Kumar. Is that the director?
Yeah, Beast,
yeah. I was going to mention him, and someone has mentioned in the comments, John, IOTG. Hi there, welcome on in. Beast is estimated to hit Netflix in May at some point. It's the most successful Tamil film movie of 2022, and there's a possibility Nelson and Vijay will work together soon. I was actually going to ask that question, John.
Yeah.
I'm not pointing fingers because we've not seen the film yet, so I can't really comment on what went wrong, other than it seemed more story. It seemed more story, John.
You're saying what went wrong, Stephen, but we've not seen it. We might really enjoy it. Other people are obviously saying there's
and 6.8 as well on IMDb, John. That's what I'm concerned about. But we keep an open mind. It's not a bad film by any means. But I was going to mention that, John.
Someone says it was a movie of two halves.
Yeah.
It says, I think, the second half of the movie, I'm pretty sure I read it in the comments, someone says it was a movie of two halves. One aspect was underwhelming, but the other half was really, really good.
Yeah, it was a payoff, yeah.
It was a payoff. It may have been the second half. They just allowed Talapathy to go batshit.
That sounds like pacing more than anything to me, rather than it's a bad direction or a bad acted film. It sounds more pacing issues to me, and that happens in films. We've seen it time and time again. John, what was the film we saw? No, it wasn't the film. It was the television series, wasn't it? Hellbound.
Yeah.
Well, the first 4 episodes were kind of going in an interesting direction, and then it was like the white slate clean. Yeah, it was. I hate when they do that. It just took me off my stride. The story was still intact in a certain way, but it was from a different point of view with a whole new cast, as you said.
You know, I'd love, Stephen, though, to see Ruth in the comments and see her thoughts on Beast, because if she's seen it, then obviously someone that we respect in terms of opinion, what her thoughts would be in the movie. And if it's one she would recommend we actually go and see in the theatres while we can, or go and watch on a Netflix or something like that at a later point. Get her thoughts on it, because she also had her on umpteen times, man. She knows her shit.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear her opinion on it. Huge Talapathy fan, but also grounded and
she doesn't get carried away with the whole. She's not a fanboy or anything like that. If it's a bad film, she'll tell us it's a bad film.
Yeah, and she says there's a few from Talapathy, so I'd love to see that. Because that'd be one voice I'd definitely listen to. But in terms of working with Nelson again, I see no reason why not, man. The movie seems to be a financial success and nothing else. So give him a chance. But for me, I want to see Lokesh working with Talapathy again. I'd love to see him working together with him in 67.
Nelson did Doctor, didn't he?
Nelson did Doctor, yeah.
Which wasn't well received either.
Yeah.
That's his critics, though.
I mean,
at the end of the day, it's
It's all subjective.
It's all subjective.
I'm just looking, Stephen, at some of the names you threw out there. I'm going to bring this back up just so I can actually read it. I'll be off the screen while I do it. But you mentioned Rashmika, I'm pretty damn sure.
Yeah.
Rashmika Mandanna.
The female lead, yeah.
She's going to be playing the female lead. That was one thing that one criticism I did read from. I'm going to term them haters here. I'm going to term them Talapathy haters. Because it was a ridiculous thing they came out with. But one of the criticisms I read, and it was also Pooja Hedge, I think she's my age.
Yeah.
And Talapathy. They levelled a criticism towards him as if it's his choice to direct or cast. He's a casting director.
Okay.
They basically says, yeah, I mean, he's always been cast alongside women much younger than him and playing romantic interest.
That got to do with
that doesn't mean shit, man. He ain't picking the fucking lead.
I would say that's more disrespectful towards Pooja Hedge.
Yeah, they're basically saying
she's not capable.
Yeah, she's not capable. And we've seen this before. We've seen that in Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
Marrying someone 30 years older. Doesn't matter, man, age. It doesn't matter. And ultimately, he looks younger than he does anyway. He looks in his mid to late 30s.
So it's all about chemistry at the end of the day. Age has got nothing to do with it. Yeah. If the chemistry's there, and I don't know how many PJ films we've watched. I've probably got a better idea, but every female has in a film have always got good chemistry with them, and that's because of him, you know, and because of the way he can bounce off actors, you know, that are opposite him. And
he can elevate a young actress as well and give her a chance to then get on and really build her career from maybe that point if it's an up and coming actress. But this one, Stephen, Rashmika Mandanna, she's worked in Push by the Rise. I'm pretty damn sure we reacted to that.
We did, yeah.
Great looking young lady, 26 years old. Prominent coming up, man. So this could be a movie. Working with Lokesh kind of Garage and Talapathy could do a lot to really boost her career. So I just don't get that argument at all.
No.
I've read that and I was shaking my head. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? He's in his late 40s, mid to late 40s. He's not over the hill. He's not 70. He's not like Rajinikanth knocking back roles with people half his age.
Yeah, well, Rajinikanth, I think, he's obviously he's young at heart, John, but he doesn't go for a female lead that's a lot younger than him, and I can understand why.
That's the fucking movie, by the way. I was talking about.
How old is he again? He's in his 70s now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's early 70s, late 70s.
And I think it would look a bit odd, but
that was the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
Hello, Arjun.
Yeah.
You watch it.
We'll have to watch it, John.
Rashmika's in that.
We will obviously be covering Talapathy 66 when more news comes out. But before that, we need to talk about Beast. We need to review Beast before we move on. So it could be that we may not have too much Talapathy news for a little while until we get to see Beast, and then we can do the review and move on. And then we can put our focuses on Talapathy 66.
So that was 66. We were talking about Rashmika. She's casting that role in 66. The next one, that's already starting shooting. And Tamanzi, also the composer, he worked on Hala Vaikumfa Puramalao with Hello Arjun as well, and that pretty good music, song and dance numbers. So
yeah, fantastic.
Seem to be putting the right people together.
One thing we've not done for a while, John, is some reactions to some of the musical numbers.
We've
not had any requests, but if anyone wants to request, certainly we'll accommodate. But John, we're going to move on to our next topic. We're moving back over to the West, and it's not the best all the time. Jonathan Majors' Creed 3 update is a great sign for the movie's big fight. Now, John, you mentioned something before we came on air when we were talking about this article. You weren't aware, obviously, Jonathan Majors was in Creed 3. I wasn't aware either, but I did see on Instagram a couple of weeks ago with both
I think you know the movie was happening, Stephen.
Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. I knew there was talk, John. I didn't know how far the production was along. But
talking shite. Doing double duty, isn't he?
He's directing. But we didn't know obviously how far along it was, John. But this is coming in from Screen Rant, and I'm just going to sort of read a little bit about this because there's a little bit in here that really sticks out, a sore thumb towards both of us anyway, which we don't like. And then John, you can give your thoughts. Creed 3 will pick up the story from Creed 2 with Adonis Creed, Michael B. Jordan, back in the ring to defend his heavyweight title against Jonathan Majors' villain Anderson Dame. It's the 9th instalment in the Rocky franchise, boxing franchise, and the first one without Sylvester Stallone. Though he's staying on as a producer, it is rumoured that Jonathan Majors' villain will be Clubber Lang's son.
Well, the name doesn't make sense right away. If his name's Anderson Dame, it's not Lang.
I think
what was his name?
I think Adonis went with another name at the very beginning before he embraced it. I might be wrong. I've not seen the film in a little while, John. It's been about maybe 7 years since I've seen the
film.
film.
There was that disconnect though, wasn't there, the sort of legacy with the father?
Although it's not been confirmed that that's going to be the case, it is rumoured, and I think if Sylvester Stallone's in a producing role, then he wants some callbacks to the earlier films, which I don't agree with. But we'll get there, John. Once I read this bit, we can get our thoughts on that, which kind of know what way we're going then. Jonathan Majors has recently stated that he got punched in the face about 100 times while filming Creed 3,
don't do that.
while stressing that he didn't sustain any serious injuries. The fact that numerous blows were landed during the fight scenes serves to highlight just how authentic Jordan is trying to make Creed 3. It's a fine line to balance the safety of the actors while striving for realism, and modern audiences are trained to spot the old Hollywood editing tricks, sound effects and camera angles. That disguise the fakeness of a hero-villain movie fight. Whoopah! The authenticity of the boxing matches in the Rocky movies is a mixed bag, but the fighting in the Creed films has maintained a sense of realism from the start, and Jonathan Majors' comments indicate that Creed 3 is continuing this quality. John, he's absolutely right. There was one thing I always loved about the last Rocky film, Rocky Balboa, was the cinematic presentation of the fight scenes. It was more like a pay-per-view boxing match we were watching. I didn't mind the old it was always at the angles when they're punching, you would kind of they'd put their head back, that kind of thing, and it always sounded like a Indiana Jones whip, when they hit each other. But
I mean the Rocky movies were like that for sure.
The first 5, you think you'd learn after the first movie not to do that, but it was a style back then, wasn't it?
It was.
But John, the sort of elephant in the room here is, of course, Clubber Lang's son. Why do this? Why do it?
Stephen, I don't know. Not only is it passive racism in its full flow and fullest form in Hollywood, but it's totally unnecessary. You've got a great actor in Jonathan Majors, young, vibrant actor, same age as me, I have to say he's young. And he's not as he's fucking old, I'd be saying I'm old then. And he ain't, he's young. But he's coming up, man. He's also had a career to date. He's now cast as Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's now really building and making a name for himself. He's now working with another great black talent in Michael B. Jordan. Not that I have to emphasise that he's fucking black, doesn't matter, he's just a great talent. The reason I'm emphasising it is, and I'll get to it, the whole Sylvester Stallone thing. Him still sticking around in a producing role. He got kicked notoriously off the directing duties of the second one, and they also brought in I think it was Vince, oh god, what was it, Stephen Cable Jr.
Yeah.
Was it Stephen Cable?
It was, because the first director, who was it for the first?
I think it was well, it wasn't Sly that did the first one. It may have been I'm blanking on his name. This fucking Black Panther. Yeah.
It's terrible, isn't it? I'm going to look it up, John, because
Ryan Coogler.
That's it, Ryan. Yeah.
I love Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
He obviously kicked Sly Stallone off a second movie. They didn't kick him, but there was a parting of ways, and the rationale was maybe writing, directing. I don't know if he was ever directing, but there was certainly a parting of ways. Rationale being that some fucking rigid Italian white guy, there's no concept of what it is being a black man growing up in America or in any fucking part of the world. How they have been shaped to where they are in their 20s or 30s, and where the character of Adonis would be in that moment in his life, where he would be, the relationship with his father not being there, obviously the legacy hanging over him. He had no concept of what that was, so they stepped away. Obviously Michael B. Jordan, heavily involved creatively. Vince, I keep saying Vince, it's Stephen Cable, don't know why I want to say Vince. Stephen Cable Jr. came in. I loved the second movie, I thought it was great. As you mentioned, Stephen, it continued the sort of presentation thing. You know,
yeah.
I'm turning into fucking Dr. Disrespect. Multi-million-dollar movie.
Where are you getting your data?
Data. Jesus Christ. The presentation style was there, man. You could see that he had worked his ass off, Michael, to get into shape for that movie.
Yo, Mikey.
So it was something I enjoyed, and I quite liked in the second movie the sort of tentative sort of links to the Drago sort of family. I think it was Victor Drago they brought in. That was alright for one movie, Stephen. That was fine.
Yeah.
You could feel the lasting connection to Sly Stallone, his influence in the movie.
Yeah.
He stepped the fuck away from the movie at the end. He went and spent time with his son, and then behind the scenes it was almost like a microcosm of what his sort of influence waning in this trilogy. he was stepping away. Michael B. Jordan's coming in and directing the third movie. I thought we were going to move off and do something different with this movie. Making him a connection to Clubber Lang's a fucking disaster.
Well, John,
it's a
you're
disaster.
absolutely right, and I think that we're now in the third film of a trilogy, and we're only moving away from that sort of legacy now, which I think's wrong. I think they should have done it in the second film. I'm not saying they shouldn't have covered the Ivan Drago situation. I think they should have combined
because also the
first story and the second story into the one film, you know, and had the sort of Drago thing as a sort of main thing in the first movie. You know, it shapes them, and then you've got the next two films to, you know, for Adonis to go off and do his own thing without Rocky being there. But it is what it is. Two good films, to be fair. Two great directors in Capo Jr. and Coogler handling those first two films. But I'm very interested to see how Michael Jordan directs this film as well. And it seems from this article anyway that he's putting a lot of focus in on the high quality of a believable boxing match as well. It's going to occur. Certainly, obviously, with these two fine actors, you know, the amount of punches they took in the face. So
we don't want too many punches getting into Major's face. He's got to look good for the MCU.
For Kang, yeah.
For Kang.
Yeah.
But Steve, it does. I'm with you. I like the fact that they're actually putting blood, sweat and tears in. Actual physical contact has been made on the set, because there's nothing worse, as you mentioned, the fake punches, the sound effects. I mean, it was alright. The Rocky movies weren't horrendous. It wasn't like some fucking Bruce Lee shit going on where he's kicking in the general vicinity of somewhere and 5 bodies are flying and he's made no contact. There's chairs going and everything.
Enter the Dragon, yeah.
I mean, I love Enter the Dragon. It's a fucking great movie. I'm not find a bigger fan outside of Steven anyway, of Bruce Lee, but it was fucking fake. It was fake as hell. Rocky wasn't that bad. And as you mentioned, Rocky Balboa, I think 2006 or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
But then that elevated it, made that journey towards realism. And then we got the obviously Adonis stuff going on with Creed movies, and that is built upon that realism. It's now fucking, I mean, we're actually getting real boxers in. You're getting your man, the Scouse guy, I'm pointing on his name as well, terrible. The Scouse guy, you're a false Creed. That's what he's like though in real life. I don't know why
that's
I'm
what made Sylvester Stallone become an Everton fan.
Yeah, he's a big Everton man. Yeah, he's an Evertonian.
Yeah.
But you're utilising real boxers. You've got the presentation there. You've got real presenters and commentators. It's blurring the lines of reality with these movies, and that's something you want to see. The fact Majors has come in, he's a great talent. Didn't even realise he was there. He's playing the villain. You're not just bringing in some fucking shiny sort of Lundgren-esque character. It was Lundgren, it was still Lundgren. Who's not an amazing actor, but he's got the physique and he's got the presence.
Yeah.
You're bringing in a real actor here.
Yeah.
A guy who can fucking act properly alongside Michael B. Jordan, and we'll get a great dramatic performance.
Carl Weathers, Carl. I think he wasn't a professional actor. I don't know if he was at the time of Rocky, but he was. I think he was a American football player. I don't know what level he was at. And then you look at Mr. T. He was barely an actor. George Peppard on the hate team hated him because he saw himself as an actor. You know, and he's working with a guy just with muscles.
Like
yeah. To be fair, George Pepper's got a more illustrious career than Anthony Daniels in terms of roles and sort of a familiar face, but not hiding behind a gold mask or anything like that. And then you look at Hulk Hogan was Thunder Lips as well, you know. And then you've, as you said, Ivan Drago, Dolph Lundgren, and then you had the Rocky 5 guy. I can't remember his name. He was an actual boxer. He wasn't an actor. He was a boxer. Can't remember his name.
Is that a street fight?
Yeah, terrible with the mullet. And then in Rocky Balboa again, I think it was he a real boxer? That guy. He had a terrible character name. I can't remember the character's name, but it was terrible.
I think it
was shockingly bad, the actual character's name, and he didn't look like a boxer. He looked like he had the sort of physique of a basketball player more than anything. But you're absolutely right, John.
It was Mason, the
Line Dixon.
Former professional boxer.
Yeah. So you've always had that element of a boxer in there rather than an actor. So it's going to be very interesting to see, obviously, how that goes, because I think it's easier for an actor to portray a boxer than a boxer try to act.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see.
And you'll not get any. You're a false creed.
Yeah. I mean, that's terrible.
Some proper acting in there. But don't make him Clubber Lang's son. It's ridiculous. It's unnecessary. Is it because he's black and Clubber Lang was black? Is that what the fuck are we doing here?
Very condensed world, the Rocky world, isn't it?
Yeah, what are we doing here? Just give him his own character, with his own motivation. Step away from the whole Rocky connection. You mentioned it, man, the whole Drago thing, that could have been sewn up in the first movie. Freed up Adonis, he then becomes his own man, fighting his own battles. I get it, I think the first movie, maybe it was the whole relationship with Rocky, getting him into the whole boxing thing. The second movie, obviously, exercising the demons of his father's death. I get what they were doing, but just we don't need Clubber Lang.
I think as well, John, it kind of took away a little bit of the relationship with Tessa Thompson's character as well.
I mean, it did some great stuff in that, with obviously the little kid, the deafness and stuff.
Yeah, that's right,
and obviously their relationship, but it wasn't, not enough.
It wasn't enough. No, it definitely wasn't, John.
There's a shoehorn and a sort of third spoken, that's why.
Well, that's it, and you don't do that with Tessa Thompson. No. She's a fine actor. But we'll have to see how it goes, John, but it's something I'm sure we'll talk about again. I mean, look at those photographs. Oh, jeez, look at that. This is IMDb. I mean, absolute unit, this guy.
He's ridiculous. He really is.
I would not like to get punched in the face with this guy.
I mean, the two of them are absolute monsters. Mike Lee John's a monster as well. Shoulders from
It's going to be a clash of titans with these two chaps, you know, and I'm very much looking forward to it. But we're going to move on to a little bit of Star Wars news. It's something we've not really
I've been in the right scene the entire time.
For a while. Bastard.
Bastard there,
chocolate. As we mentioned, like Obi-Wan is coming up on Disney Plus in less than a month's time. In fact, it's a month's time. Jeez, it was the 25th. Sorry, it was the 25th, but they've moved it, haven't they? They've moved it to the Friday now. We're back to the Friday night reacting, John.
I'm a class wee egg.
Aye, yeah. Dizzy.
Yeah, that was a 10:30ism there, Stephen. That's a sort of joke that will go over the head of everybody.
Don't know, Danger. Life is. It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning's done. Thanks for coming in on Twitch. But anyway, we're going to move on to. It's the Death Star, John, and the retcon was unnecessary according to David Miller of Screen Rant.
Really?
Yes.
Davey.
But it's an opinion, and this is Rogue One we're talking about, of course. And you can see from the article.
They're like assholes.
There's Director Krennic. And John, I'm just going to. I don't know who I was doing there, by the way. It definitely wasn't Vader. Sounded like an angry Billy Connolly. Anyway.
He had this fucking borderline lisp.
Yeah.
Director Krennic. That's Director Krennic.
Yeah.
Stephen Graham.
Yeah. Creed. False Creed. Jyn Erso's father, Galen Erso, helped design the Death Star superweapon, but secretly sabotaged the station by making the main reactor unstable. Erso paved the way for the rebellion's victory in A New Hope by designing the reactor to cause a catastrophic chain reaction that's Welsh if subjected to any pressurised explosion. The problem with this retcon is that no wonder no one understands us. We do different accents all the time, but the problem with this retcon is that the reactors have always had catastrophic results when damaged or destroyed in the Star Wars franchise. So while Rogue One told an exciting story of compelling characters, it didn't need to alter the Death Star's weakness. John, I'll get your views in a little moment. In terms of Rogue One, it's still the best Disney release, Star Wars for me anyway. I
agree.
I thought at the time The Force Awakens was an okay film. In hindsight now, I'm not really bothered about the trilogy, but this was a kind of standout for me because it was something familiar, but doing it from a different angle. Even if they didn't have the Vader corridor scene, I still would have regarded it as a very good film because obviously had Mads Mikkelsen in it, because I love everything that guy does. And as Galen Erso, he was fantastic, John. It served a purpose just to give us an adventure more than anything. I wasn't really looking too deep into the sort of the plot holes of A New Hope, because that was a big talking point for a good 30 years about this flaw in the Death Star, and a lot of people find it a little bit unbelievable. So they try to fatten it out a bit, and give us a reason for this. And at the end of the day, it's something that I don't really focus on too much. I loved the actual adventure of the film. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the way it connected to A New Hope was fantastic as well, and we still got a callback to some of the prequel stuff as well in terms of an Obi-Wan reference, and obviously your man, I can't remember his name now, that played obviously the adopted father of Leia, Jimmy Schmidt's character. Can't remember his name now. From Alderaan.
Bail Organa.
That's it, Bail Boy. And I think it gave us that. It gave us that kind of bridge, because I always felt episode 3 and episode 4 there was this big jump in technology, look, feeling, everything. It just didn't sit right with me.
It was very clean.
Yeah, it was very clean. Yeah, and
a hard night's day.
The hard night's day. He's still having sleepless nights over that, John. I need to try and find that.
I'll never let myself go over that.
Oh,
never.
Yeah, I didn't help, because I didn't help you out, John, because I didn't know what you were trying to say.
Fuck me.
But
a hard night's day.
But
okay. You call yourself a Beatles fan, John? I can guess.
John, that's the pressure of live broadcasting, though, isn't it?
To fill in though, Stephen, we can probably, and there's no probably about it, we can both guess just about every fucking Beatles song, including covers on the BBC albums, within a second. So for me to fuck up a fucking hard day's night, I'm doing it again, is extraordinary.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
And
it shows you what live streaming does to the brain. It erodes the brain like a Spartamy. Rapes your brain cells. It's the lights. I blame the lights for it,
John. But the thing is, the whole reactor thing has been done time and time again. We've talked about this before we came on, in terms of Anakin Skywalker taking out the reactors in episode 1, then we got it again in episode 4, and then again in episode 6.
Yeah, Lucas says this is history repeats itself. It's poetry in motion. No, it's just fucking lazy writing, George.
Yeah, let's just do the same thing.
It's just fucking lazy, mate. You're just retelling the same fucking story.
And then obviously JJ did that in Force Awakens.
Of course he did.
With the
fucking shite bag.
That planet star thing, whatever it's called.
Fucking talking about
what was that called?
Planet Star?
Yeah, the planet
Scarif
thing. The actual planet that had the laser beam built in.
Oh, God.
Didn't make any sense.
Star Killer Base.
That's to kill everybody on the actual base through the radiation, but that's for another day, John.
Listen, Stephen, Lemmy was talking about Lost today. That's another J.J. Abrams fucking project where he built something, shat the bed, didn't stick a landing, and it was rubbish.
I'd never
watched it. The landing was rubbish.
I never watched it.
The ending was rubbish. J.J. Abrams he just wants to step away, just become a producer.
John,
stay away from it.
Do you know Robert Meyer Burnett doesn't like him as a filmmaker? Doesn't rate him at all. Shit. And I can understand why. And it's nothing to do with Star Trek either.
I didn't mind, listen, to be fair, I didn't mind the Star Trek movies, but I'd argue the best Star Trek movie of those reboots is the Simon Pegg one. He wrote, I think, maybe, I don't think he directed, but he
I don't know if you're in the majority there, John, but yeah, I would agree.
What was it, Into Darkness?
Into Darkness was the second one, wasn't it?
That was the other one.
Yeah. The other one, yeah.
The other one.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Into Darkness either, to be fair.
I had Cumberbatch, so it was always going to be good, wasn't it?
He always can, I remember that.
Yeah.
As he can, of course he is. Forgotten about it. But anyway, come back to Star Wars, Stephen.
Well, John, just before we forget, the Resistance as well, on the, I don't know what planet it was, or well, it was a ship, wasn't it? The Rise of Skywalker. They took out reactors as well. So it's been done again.
Exegol.
Yeah. Exegol, yeah.
Fucking terrible. Stephen,
I've still only seen that film once.
I've only seen it once as well. Wait, the theatre to see it with you came out.
I've got no plans of seeing it again.
No, I'm never going to watch it again.
Terrible.
Shite. Yeah. Rubbish. One of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
God awful. If you're going to employ someone like Ryan Johnson, and we'll go off on a tangent briefly, in the middle movie, and you're giving them an open sandbox and saying, look, don't worry about what happened before, you can do what you want. Doesn't matter if it retcons the idea of JJ, doesn't matter. You at least build from there. You say, we need coherence now.
Yeah.
We didn't have it from the first movie into the second. Let's just water under the bridge, move on. We need coherence. For them to then do it again for the final movie and just retcon and panic and just fling all this fan service in. Give his fucking Palpatine back again, even though he died a horrific death and the thing imploded on him. It's like, what are you doing? John, God awful.
Do you know when I know, tangents aside, but do you know when they introduced Ian McDermott with that laugh thing?
I remember you were racing.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I remember.
What are they doing with this franchise? And it doesn't matter what I think anyway, but the reaction across that whole convention with people going off their nuts, they were just absolutely hysterical when he came on. I would be too, just to see Ian McDermott, but I would be going, what he's doing? You know, you're absolutely killing another trilogy by doing this.
To be fair, they could have done it in a way where he wasn't alive.
Yeah.
That he was some sort
Well,
of
I thought they were going to do that. Yeah, I thought they were going to do some kind of a presence, a spirit, or some.
There was ways around it, and the execution
they also made his fingers all that sort of rotten way, didn't they? Because that was obviously the lightning before he was killed, wasn't it? That burnt his fingers, but. So it was the same guy. It was the same one. It wasn't like a clone or anything like that. And then they tried to Lucasfilm later on tried to say it was a clone or some shit like that. I can't remember. They'll try to get out of the back. What
Lucasfilm wanted to do is just fucking retcon that out of existence. It didn't exist. It's fan fiction. It didn't. It's not real.
There's only a chance they were going to get the big 3 back as well, and
they'll
not do that again. Can't do it again.
Use up lightness when the technology's in.
Don't use that voice that they're going. Just no emotion to it.
No, it didn't.
You know, no soul. You know.
But Stephen, in terms of the Rogue One, the retcon was unnecessary. Go back to this. Was the retcon unnecessary? It probably was unnecessary to retcon the whole.
Rogue One as a film was unnecessary.
Yeah, it was unnecessary, but it was a smart idea from I think some executive or editor.
I can't remember his first name. Something No. Who worked with Lucas.
He always liked the crawl, didn't he? The opening crawl, and he liked that part, and he wanted to shed light on the mystery.
Rebels,
It wasn't. It probably was unnecessary. The concept of retconning the whole flaw in the Death Star's plans. It could have just been a flaw. It's a huge fucking station.
Yeah.
There has to be somewhere where you can put a missile in or something and it blows it up. There has to be a weakness. There's always a weakness. The best laid plans are always foiled in the end by something. Was it unnecessary? Probably was. I personally don't think the concept was unnecessary though. Giving some humanity to the Empire, giving a face to the people who created this station. The one problem with the original movie, and it's one of the greatest movies ever fucking made, but it's a space opera. It's very simplistic.
Yeah.
Farm boy goes and saves the universe from big bad guys. It's black and it's white. There's no grey.
Yeah.
There's nuance in real life. Nothing's black and white. The bad guys aren't truly black. The white guys aren't truly white. And I hate that as well, by the way. Black and white. That's fucking terrible when you actually lay that out and say that. That's god awful. That's real colonial shit that we're speaking there. But there's a greyness in between. There's a neutrality. And to present a Galen Ursel, a scientist who was a real human figure who'd been taken away from his family, didn't want to do it, and was thrust into this terrible situation. And for him to create that flaw, I thought that was fucking genius, what they did with that. And what it did is it added levels to the experience of A New Hope, which was something I always wanted them to do.
Yeah.
If you're continuing this saga, add levels where it's going to elevate the experience of the original trilogy, not detract. Sadly, the sequel trilogy detracts greatly from the original trilogy as an experience. You go and watch it, thinking in the back of your head, if you think these movies exist, that's what's going to happen to Luke. That
John,
bright, ambitious, brilliant guy.
Yeah.
He's going to turn into that.
If we're going into unnecessary efforts in Lucasfilm, it has to be with the Han Solo story.
Mm-hmm.
It was something. It wasn't a bad film, John. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't necessary. As much as we're talking about Rogue One and the part of the plots sort of being, was it necessary or unnecessary? I think in that case the story continuation and the cast as well. I thought the actual cast was fantastic throughout. Introduced us to new.
Bring Donald Glover into anything, man.
Yeah.
Alden was.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but it was just that it was an unnecessary move by Lucasfilm, and I think it was just fan service more than anything. I think, on the back of The Force Awakens and the killing of Han Solo, I think it was just fan service, just to give them something for the character more than anything.
I mean, Stephen, they're terrified to go off and do anything new with new characters. That's why The Mandalorian was such an important thing. They finally took a new character, albeit in that same era, and did something and ran with it. And what that allows is you to tell fresh stories that are not weighed down by the
that's
original.
what they're doing, isn't it? They're giving you more characters in these television series so they can branch out a little bit.
Yeah, that's what they had to do.
Yeah.
Instead of being beholden to that same era.
A little bit far with Boba Fett though, not including him in about 3 episodes or 2 episodes or whatever it was. I thought that was a bit too much.
It's just the reality of Boba Fett though. I don't think he's compelling enough character. It's just not. I just wouldn't even have made a TV show, period. But me and you seem to have been fucking a very small minority that think he's not that great a character. No, it's totally fucking necessary.
He's a guy in a boiler suit with a rocket up his arse.
And a cool helmet, it's bashed in, which probably speaks volumes about the character. The fact it's bashed in, someone's got close to him and bashed his helmet in, so he's not that fucking good. You want to look at someone that's to be worried about and fucking unnerving. Look at the big guy in the black suit with the dodgy breathing. Not a mark on that suit, not a mark on that mask. Immaculate.
He polished his helmet every night.
Fucking right, he did. Fucking right, he did. And yes, that was a euphemism. You got to give him something, Christ. The guy nearly died. Yeah. But he wasn't to be messed with. He was a man who was in many tussles.
His head looked well dodgy.
Yeah. That mullet. When you think about it, the haircut and the helmet. If it's a face and that's a haircut, it's a mullet. Very of its time.
Yeah.
Very, very much of its time. Aussie Man reviews of Star Wars with Darth and Julius Vader. But look, Stephen, I don't think it was ultimately. Probably, if a general sort of look at this thing, probably unnecessary. But for me, it was a nice touch. They took the opening crawl, they did something unique with it. I loved the story. It had great humanity, some brilliant characters. So much so we're getting Cassian Andor. Yeah. You're bringing in acting talents like Felicity Jones and Mads Mikkelsen. For me, one of the greatest emotional moments in the whole Star Wars saga is the moment between Jyn Erso and her father.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it was now. I can't remember. Jeddah, yeah. Where she sees him and for the first time in 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And he's
a little girl,
laying his heart out.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant moment, and that's why you bring someone like Mads in. And that's why he imbued that story with great humanity. And the knock-on effects to that, you see the sacrifice to these rebellion soldiers, what it's taking to get these plans, what it's taking to get to that moment where Luke uses the Force and he blows it all up. That enhances the experience. So for me, it was fucking necessary. It works. It's a great movie for me. I loved it.
Worked.
But it's Tony Gilroy.
Yeah.
You've got to thank for it.
That's right. Yep.
Not Gareth Edwards, because he made a fucking ass of it. So there you are. But look,
he's more interested in the salt on what was that planet? That red planet with the salt on top of it.
Oh, I don't know.
Can't remember. From The Last Jedi, he was one of the soldiers, wasn't he? Tasted the salt, and I actually had to say it's salt.
Where was that? Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah,
I've just blanked it out.
That's where Finn should have sacrificed his life.
Yeah, he should have. That would have been a great moment for.
It was.
John.
It would have been powerful, John. But anyway.
But John they couldn't let go of that character. They wanted him to be a bitch for Rey.
Yeah.
When he should have been a fucking Jedi. He should have been the leading actor.
Crate.
Yeah. That's where Luke had his epic moment where he bitch slapped his nephew about using no violence. That's one thing he did get right, Ryan.
Yeah.
I do maintain. He made Luke the most powerful Jedi ever. But look, man, it was a good moment. The lightsaber should have been in green though. It should have been green. Shouldn't have been blue. That was Obi-Wan's. No, it wasn't Obi-Wan's. It was Anakin's.
Yeah.
So fucked up there, Ryan. Call yourself a Star Wars fan.
Could always digitally change it, couldn't they?
No, but I think the whole point was it was again enhancing the whole lightsaber, wasn't it? Going to Rey, she's a Skywalker. That was the fucking thought at the end. I'm just going to become a Skywalker. The lightsaber called to me.
So am I.
So I am a Skywalker.
I'm going to do that too.
Yeah, we're all Skywalker.
Steve Skywalker. It's got a better ring to it than Rey.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, can you imagine that was a name in the Star Wars universe?
Alan.
Yeah. John.
Alan Kenobi.
John just wouldn't work either, would it, to be fair? You'd have to do some...
John Erso.
John Erso. Yeah, John Erso would probably work, to be fair, yeah. Instead of John. I really enjoyed Rogue One. I did.
Yeah, I
really did. I love Ben Mendelsohn, man.
Yep.
He's a great fucking actor. And the moment he overlooks Jeddah, and you see the shot it was brilliant. I mind watching it at the time and thinking, this is fucking great, I love this. I want more Peter Cushing, who's been dead for 30 years. But also not aged well now, but absolutely fine. You live in the moment. I do anyway. I don't live in the past or the future, because it's impossible. What is your thoughts on the topics we've touched upon? Because I'm going to get out yet. It's been a rambling of a show.
Yeah, it's been good.
It has been good. I enjoy talking. I love
this is the way we're trying to do it.
It is, man. You get more personality coming out.
John, I've looked at our early stuff and it was like this.
Fucking terrible.
It was like the two of us sitting, you can see our shorts. solo, the big high wall behind us, and just you're doing your video again. And you know, there was this moment where we come on. What's the headline today? What was the headline we had today, John?
Talapathi.
What was it? What was the wording? Can you bring it up? Can you do that? Can you bring it up? I know we're going to the way we used to do it would be like two is looking at the screen, sitting beside each other, would be like, Talapathy 67, originally written for Rajinikanth, that's coming up next, or movie news, and then we'd do the little intro thing. It was terrible. It was too regimented and shite, wasn't it?
And then you'd go to me, wait for it,
and you'd have your folder, your file.
Yes, Stephen, today we're going to be speaking about Talapathy 67. Was it wrote initially for Rajinikanth, but no energy? See that energy I brought?
Well, hold on a minute, John. I've got another article I have to read word to word.
It was Talapathy 67. Yes, Stephen. Was it initially written for Rajinikanth?
Yeah, John, the irony is we wouldn't have had the confidence to do it live, or two, talk about Talapathy Vijay back then.
No, absolutely not, because I didn't know who he was, Stephen, until last year. But look, we've enriched my lives in that last year. And it's something I've always been firmly a fan of, is going off and explore another film. German, Danish, French, the whole shebang. And we have done it.
Yeah.
And
even Welsh.
Have I done Welsh? I don't think I've done Welsh, to be fair. Thankfully not. No offence to any Welsh people coming in. Anyway,
thanks for the comments, guys.
Thanks for the comments. We do appreciate it tremendously. You can continue comment if you're watching this after the effect.
We will reply.
After the event, we will. Maybe. Depends on what you comment. If you see Assy, man, would you fucking ignore it? Well, that guy's disappeared. I'm convinced that was maybe a burner account. But look, man, you can comment down below if you get anything to say about Talapathy's 67, not 66, 67 potentially having been wrote for Rajinikanth, another superstar of the South, initially potentially working with Lokesh again. And I hope Vijay Sethupathi, because the more Vijay Sethupathi we have with Talapathy, the happier we are going to be.
Yeah.
Two fantastic actors that are made to be acting alongside each other. But look, man, you can comment down below if you get anything to say about that. You can comment down below if you've got anything to say about the other two topics that we spoke about. Creed 3. Jonathan Majors. Do you want to see him playing Clubber Lang's son? You're a strange man or woman if you do, because that's something that's just completely fucking unnecessary. Do you agree with us? Disagree? You can comment down below. Thoughts on Star Wars Rogue One? Was the retconning of the Death Star's weakness an unnecessary retcon? You can comment below. Share your thoughts about Star Wars in general. The little tangents went off and touched upon. Anything you feel compelled to share can go down below in the comment section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs for the very next live show, which will be me tomorrow on my toddery. Yes, I did say toddery. Todd, Toddery. Toddery. Means I'm on my own. Stick around for that if you have enjoyed it. Regardless of what you do though, thank you once again. Oh, I hit the follow button over there in Twitch as well, notifications. We got a comment from Twitch. Thank you very much. Regardless of what you do though, me and Stephen are done, and until next time, bye. Didn't change the scene again, fantastic.